I think everybody is here now. Okay, welcome to our second webinar, the IMIM webinars. Today, we're going to talk about corporate social responsibility. This is today's agenda. We're going to have a brief welcoming, the presentation of the IMIM and NPU, which is our co-host university, part of the consortia, a keynote speaker from NPU, Q&A session, and a closure. So first of all, I would like to welcome my other two colleagues that will be delivering this seminar with me. Professor Jing Shao from NPU, which is the IMIM coordinator in this university. Welcome, Jing, and thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting.
And also Professor Ming, who is going to be.
Hi, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for being here as well, and for helping us to understand more about corporate social responsibility. So I would like to give you the welcome from UPM, which is a university that I represent. My name is Isaac Lemus. I'm the IMIM coordinator for UPM. Welcome to this webinar as well. I will be your moderator along the session. So the IMIM is a multi-site master program. Okay, so we want to prepare the engineers of the future, and that are going to be working not only manufacturing but also service industries, and we cover all training related to different business and managerial disciplines. Okay, so this program has also been recognized by the European Union, and we have the Erasmus Mundus label, and it's a program that has existed for around 15 years. Currently, this is a consortia that we have. So what our students do is that they start in Madrid, where they take some managerial topics related to strategy, resources, and data management. Then they go to Moderator University, our partner in Edinburgh, in the UK, to know more about projects and sustainability related issues. And then they can choose to go on the third semester either to the Dubai campus that Moderator University has, to know more about supply chains and logistics, to Politécnica di Torino in Italy for more specialization in engineering and finance. They could also go to NPU in Xi'an in China, which is the co-host university of today's seminars, to learn more about how to do business in China. And they could go to the ITESM, which is the Tecnológico de Monterrey, in any of the three campuses in Mexico, to learn more about data science and innovation. And during the last semester, all our students could do a company-based or university-based master practically anywhere in the world. As you can see, we usually have students that cover 25 countries, so very diversified alumni that we have. Some of them, they are present today also in this webinar, and we're very happy to welcome them back. And these are just some of the companies where our students work after they have completed the IMIM. So we have created these webinars that we're gonna be conducting almost every Thursday, and so that we want to reconnect not only to our alumni, also to join and expand our network with future candidates and other colleagues from other universities and people already working in different companies. So we're very, very welcome to, we're very happy to welcome you all, and thank you for being here. So having said that, I would like to give now the speech to Professor, I'm gonna change the presentation now, to Professor Jing Shao, who is gonna give a brief introduction about NPU, okay, before we start with the keynote.
Thank you. You will help me to play the PowerPoint, right?
As you prefer, I can share it, or you
yeah,
prefer?
I can share it. Yeah.
Okay, so I will.
Yeah.
Perfect. So I have stopped. So you can share it now, I think.
Could you share it?
Yes. Yes. There you go. Can you see it?
Yeah, it's launching. Okay, thank you very much. So I will give a very brief introduction of our university and of our school. So as you can see, our the full name of our university is Northwestern Polytechnical University, and we are in the School of Management. And next page, please. We are in the center of China geographically. So as you can see, we are in the Shanxi province, and the university is located in Xi'an city, which is the center of this province. So if you take flight to anywhere of China, there will be no more than 3 hours. We are one of the top university in China, and we are the one of the national double first class universities. So it's kind of classification A university in China. Next page, please. So as you can see that the picture shows the new campus views of our university. And the School of Management has been developed for more than 30 years. And the mission of our school is to deliver in global context innovative management education and applied research connect to management science and business administration. So in our school, next page, please. We have 2 main majors, which is management science and engineering and business administration. You can find most of the interested topics in our school, for example, project management, marketing, accounting, strategy, and so on. And next page, please. So besides teaching and education, we have close collaboration with companies as well. For example, the aviation industry of China and the nuclear power operations and management, and also some automobile industry and aviation industry. Next page, please. Besides, we have several research platforms which focus on project management and industrial engineering and management, and also operations research. For me, myself, I'm working at the International Research Institute for Sustainable Operations. And today, our professor, who will give our keynote speech, Professor Jia Ming, is also working on corporate social responsibility and the research topic related to sustainability. We are also generating a new research center, which could be a sustainable business center, international sustainable business center. And next page, please. And besides, we have developed several external exchange and double degree program with international universities and schools. So here you can also see the partners all around the world we have already had. And next page, please. So next part, I will introduce a little bit about the life in our campus. So basically, we have 2 campuses in Xi'an, which is Youyi campus and the Chang'an campus. Chang'an campus is a very new campus which located beside the mountain of Qin Mountain. Next page, please. So all the foreign students will stay in Chang'an campus in their semester for studying and living. For example, in our MM program, we will do the we will offer the Master of Management Science and Engineering to offer the education in order to make the people to use the management methods and the various technique methods to solve the management problems independently, especially in the context of Chinese companies. Next page, please. So here you can see the list of the courses we're going to offer. For example, we will have applied statistics, data analysis, modeling, and decision making, and so on. So our professors are good, very good in English. So you don't have to worry about the language issues. And also every year we have more than 100 foreign students who are studying in our school. Next page, please. So here from the pictures, you can see our library, the canteen, and also the student library as well, and also the classroom. Next page, please. Here is the practice swimming pool and the sport fields, as you can see, located in our new campus. So it's guaranteed that you will have a good environment for your studying as well as for living. Next page, please. We also have a very good facilities for your living room. And here you can see the dormitory of the students, which are very well facilitated. So you don't need to worry about your living problem or your studying. We'll guarantee that for sure. So next page, please. So I think I'm gonna stop here, and thank you very much for your attention. And Xi'an is ready for you, and welcome all to have a visit and have a studying period here. And I hope you're gonna enjoy the study and living here in Xi'an and in NPU. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jing, for this nice introduction to NPU. I must say that, I have been there. You invited me as a guest lecturer and some research collaboration, and I must say it's a really, really nice top university. Especially the campus that is outside, I really enjoy it. I think it's beautiful, all the nature that you can have there, and we are very happy to have NPU as one of the partners for our IMIM consortium. So I think students will enjoy being there.
It's our pleasure to be a partner of our program.
Thank you. So continuing, of course, you can contact us more for information about the IMIM, our IMIM activities, and NPU and the other partners. But entering in today's topic about corporate social responsibility, that is going to be delivered by Professor Ming. I just would like to have a brief introduction about him. So he's a professor of management and the vice dean of the School of Management at NPU. He has received his PhD from Xi'an Jiaotong University of China, and he not only researches on CSR, but also on corporate governance and strategic communication, and he has published more than 20 highly quality journals like Organizational Science, Journal of Management Studies, Journal of Business Ethics, and he's also, he has served as the editor of a section in the JBE since 2020. So as you can see, he's a top scholar, very well mannered in this topic. And we're very happy, Professor Ming, that you are sharing with us your insights from the academic perspective about corporate social responsibility. Before I just give you the microphone, I just would like to make a small announcement while the professor starts delivering his keynote speech. We would like to get to know more about you who have connected, so there will be some questions around to both. We just want to know more about the audience, okay? So if you can answer those questions, it would be great as well. Thank you, Professor Ming. So if you would like to share your...
Okay, thank you, Ethan. Thank you for your introduction. Now, let me first share the screen. So can everyone see my share the screen? Can you see it?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Thank you, Isa, and thank you for invitation. Today is a great pleasure to come here and provide this speech. And today's topic is about corporate social responsibility. Maybe someone is very familiar with this topic, and maybe someone is not very familiar with. Today, I want to talk some very basic idea about this research field, and also provide some source based on my own research. Okay, also during my presentation, if you have any questions, you can just open the microphone and say ahead, or leave the message in the chat box. I'm very happy to answer your question. Okay. Okay, for today's presentation, I will mainly focus on 4 topics. I will first discuss, say something about the shareholder primacy and the reason why we did the CSR. And in the second part, I will say something about how the CSR become a very important topic in our society. And next, I will say something about the distortion of CSR. This is a very serious social issue. Even in nowadays, we must to consider how to solve it. In the last part, I will discuss about how CSR should be in the future. What is the good perspective about CSR? Okay. At the very beginning, I want to say something about why CSR rise. It mainly because in nowadays, is even the corporation, for each firm, they also hold a so-called shareholder primacy. It means that the firm's first target is to maximize its profit. This is what we learn from the textbook, and each manager, when they run the firm, they are trying to do this best. So they focus on how to maximize the profit. If this is the right notion for the firm to follow, then we can expect when the firm maximizes its value, it will also maximize the social welfare. So this is very easy to understand why the traditional idea about what is the social responsibility of the firm. That's the very classical idea about the social responsibility. It comes from the Milton Friedman. Whenever study about CSR, we'll go back to this idea. From Friedman, he said, the social responsibility of business is to increase its profit. So when the firm pursues its profit or try to maximize its value, it equally says that the firm has to try to do its social responsibility. They are equally the same things. This is the classical idea about CSR. I hope you can remember this. This is a very classical idea that the mere social responsibility of a firm is to increase its profit. Okay, if this is right, what will be happen in the next? Because when the firm want to pursue its profit and want to make its profit maximize, the firm will try to do many things, and even some things will generate very bad damage to the society, such as in some situation, when the firm wants to maximize its value or its profit, it will cutting the cost, such as deduction the wage of the employee, such as run the sweet shop or work overtime, something like that. All these bad practice are for the purpose to make the profit maximize, but they are but this kind of activity will generate very serious social crises and even damage the social welfare. This is what we don't want to see. In this situation, when we take the shareholder primacy as for granted, it will generate very serious social crises, such as the environmental pollution, corporate misconduct, and corporate illegality, something like that. This will increase the social crisis and even damage the social welfare. So in this situation, we will very important for us to notice that even for the manager, they will also run their best, try their best to get the profit from the firm to maximize their own profit, not in the benefit of the shareholder, such as we commonly know that, such as the agency cost handling problem. These are because the manager will also take their best benefit from the firm and the expense of the investor. This also will generate very serious economic damage to the firm. In this situation, you also notice that some good firms will also do bad things. When the company's economic performance is very high, the firm also tend to take illegal action in order to maintain the current high performance. This is a very serious problem in the corporate governance. Also, some firms will be incentive to cheat. For example, the executive with higher compensation are more likely to maintain their current payment in the way of financial fraud. So when we notice these kind of events, we have to reconsider what is the real social responsibility of the firm. This will go to my second topic, the rise of the CSR. Why we need the CSR? Because when we notice this kind of corporate practice that damage the social welfare, we must rethink about what is the CSR. And now the company should be responsible not only for the shareholder, but also for the other stakeholders, such as the employee, supplier, customers. The firm should take care of them. In this case, we should not take the shareholder primacy for granted, but take the other stakeholders' benefit into consideration. This is very important. For example, we can notice this very important CSR primacy. In this, from the Carroll is a leading scholar in the CS field. Carroll provided a model to consider what is CSR. Based on this framework, this model, you can see, and after the firm pursued the economic responsibility, it also have to take the responsibility of the legal responsibility, ethical responsibility, and the philanthropy responsibility. It means that besides economic responsibility, such as make the value for the shareholder, the firm should also take a responsibility to benefit the other stakeholders. This is a very important notion for the firm to consider in the new age. So in this situation, if the scholar believes that CSR is very important and the firm should not only care about the shareholder, but also care about other stakeholders, how we can promote or activate the firm to take this kind of social activity. It's a very hard problem because even the scholar believe this is the right thing to do, but we also must persuade the manager to also believe this notion and also do the same thing as we expected. So in this situation, the scholar tried to find some evidence to support that CSR is really benefit for the firm. This is very important evidence for the scholar, for the academic field to persuade the manager to do this kind of activity. So persuade the manager and the investor to accept the CSR notion is very important. But how to do this? So after that, very many scholars try to focus on explore the relationship between corporate social responsibility and corporate financial performance. And we expect that a firm conduct the CSR will help to increase the firm's financial performance. If this is true, we can very sure to make the manager accept the notion of CSR. And the manager and also the investor, we are very happy to accept this and take the stakeholders' value into consideration when they manage the firm or they run the firm. So after that, there are many scholars do this kind of study, and actually most of the study found out that there is a positive relationship between them. This is very positive news, and we are very glad to see this. So, but unfortunately, even though many scholars provide this kind of positive evidence, we still find that many studies also provide the opposite side evidence. For example, even some scholars find that a firm conducts CSR will damage its value. So in this situation, based on all these findings, we cannot make a conclusion that CSR will for sure increase the financial performance of the firm. So this is a very serious problem. After that, we have to do something more to find out how CSR will help the firm. So many scholars try to find a direct relationship between the CSR and the stakeholder support. For example, if the CSR cannot provide direct benefit to increase the firm's performance, how about we study whether CSR will help the firm to attract the stakeholder, provide support for the firm. This is a term in the academic field. This is about the study try to explore the CSR, the benefit of CSR to the firm. Besides this, there is another stream of study focused on another direction. There is, for example, Godfrey, as a leading scholar in this field, provide a very attractive evidence that CSR can also help the firm avoid the crisis impact on the firm. For example, when a firm conduct misconducts, it generally will arouse the stakeholders' negative reaction, such as the investor will sell the stock of the firm, and the customer will not buy the firm's product. This is the negative consequence of corporate misconduct. But however, Godfrey proposed that if a firm conducts CSR ahead, after the corporate misconducts happened, the firm who have do the CSR activity ahead will experience this damage because CSR will provide an insurance-like effect that provide the firm from stakeholders' negative reaction to the corporate misconduct. If this is true, I think this will be very attractive to the manager because the manager will be very happy to engage in CSR because CSR will provide insurance-like effect to protect the firm from the negative consequence of corporate misconduct. After Godfrey, many scholars also focus on study the insurance-like effect of CSR and try to provide some evidence to support this notion. And luckily, the scholar really found this kind of evidence. So in this case, we are very happy to see that CSR is really helpful for the business. Not only it will increase the firm's profit, but also will help the firm overcome the negative consequence of corporate misconduct. That's very attractive to the manager. However, if the CSR is so helpful for the firm, and if the manager still hold the notion of shareholder primacy, the manager will use the CSR in a different way that will different from we expected. For example, the manager will try to maximize the value of CSR investment. They will treat CSR as an investment. If this is the case, they will try to maximize the benefit of CSR investment. If they follow this kind of notion, the CSR will be distorted. The CSR will be divert from the general notion of what is CSR. The first kind of distortion is what we call decoupling. It means that many firms will say that, yes, I will do the CSR practice, such as donation, such as protect the environment. But in reality, the firm will do nothing really to change the change. They just say they will do, but will not do this kind of events. So this kind of decoupling practice is very, very serious social problem in the firm. For example, here, I give 2 examples here. After the earthquake happened in China 2008, some firms committed to donate, but actually they did not. And also, some firms will issue the CSR report to disclose their CSR information. But this kind of report are with very low quality. This kind of report cannot provide any meaningful information. This kind of events we call the decoupling of CSR, is a kind of distortion of CSR. This is what we expected from the CSR practice. The second kind of distortion of CSR is called greenwashing. Greenwashing means that the firm is claimed to invest in the environmental protection, but actually they did not do this kind of events, but even also continue to pollute the environment. This is also very serious misconduct. And this is what we want to see when a firm conduct the CSR practice. Greenwashing is also very popular among the firms, and we see many examples of greenwashing. For example, I list a paper here. This is a global study of greenwashing among the firms across the worldwide. This is a very, very serious, also is a very serious problem. So when we look at this kind of distortion of CSR, we must think about how the firm should do about CSR and what is the future of CSR. Actually, the CSR in nowadays is not what we really expect to see. And many firms did not do CSR very well as we expected. Here, especially after the financial crisis and even after this COVID period, many scholars, many managers try to rethink about this kind of events. For example, the academic field is awake. I give an example here. You can see in the academic field, they will try to think about the future work in CSR should not be bounded by a market value and the shareholder primacy perspective. I think this is very important notion. For example, even in the previous period, many firms engage in the CSR, but when they engage in the CSR, they still believe we should take the shareholder primacy as the first notion to guide their CSR practice. It means that when a firm engages in CSR, it still expects to maximize the shareholders' value. This is what we see in the past. So the academic field think that in the future we should change this kind of perspective, and the CSR should not be bounded by a market value and should not be bounded by the shareholder primacy perspective. This is the academic field call for a change. And also in the manager field, and such as in the big firm, we also see that many top managers of the big company also rethink about what is CSR will be. There is a very important statement on the purpose of the corporation. It is signed by nearly 212 American companies CEO. In 2019, they they come together and sign a statement. And based on this statement, you can see they take the investor's value as the last point, but move the value of customer and the employee and the supplier as the most important target for the firm to pursue. This is also a change from the shareholder primacy. The firm nowadays, many CEO are asked the firm to change the shareholder primacy perspective and ask the firm to take the customer, take the employee, or take the supplier as the most important stakeholder to consider when they run the firm. This is we call the wake of the capitalism. So in this situation, what will be the future of CSR? Based on my understanding, I think in the future, the firm should integrate the economic interest, such as the social benefit, the shareholders' benefit, with the social interest, such as the other stakeholders' benefit. Take these two perspectives together and emphasize on a symbolism with the stakeholder. In this way, we can realize the mutual benefits of the firm and the stakeholder. It means that when a firm runs its business, it should maximize the value of stakeholder and take the stakeholder together and do not only focus on the value of the investor. This is the fellow points I want to share with you. It means that in the future, the firm should take the stakeholder's perspective rather than the shareholder perspective to run the business. This is what I want to share with you for today's presentation. And last, thank you for listening. And if you have any question or I missed some points, you can ask me, and I'm very happy to discuss with you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Ming. Very interesting talk. I think some of the things that you discussed could be very applicable to our practitioners because you mentioned different frameworks, right? And for me, it was very interesting to know about this greenwashing or the different actors or the insurance-like effect. I think are terms that the company should take into consideration for sure. So what we're gonna do now to open the Q&A session, so you can ask questions to a professor, is that I'm gonna activate the voting that I mentioned before, but feel free to write in the chat also your questions or activate your microphone and cameras if you want, and you can also raise your hand using Zoom or just directly ask the question. So now is your turn. So do you have any questions for the professor about CSR?
Hello, Professor. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I would like to ask what kind of enterprise is considered to have a corporate social responsibility?
Okay. CSR is for each business firm. For each firm, they should engage in the CSR. That means that each firm, when they pursue the economic benefit, they should do the CSR at the same time. So CSR is for every firm, and there's no exclusion. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Do you have any other question?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I have a question that Professor Jia, do you have some comments that how about the difference of Chinese companies and foreign companies, especially European, or if you know that maybe Mexican companies, there are different applications or activities in terms of CSR. Do you have some comments on that?
Okay, okay, thanks for the question. I'm not sure, I do not know too much about the firm, the CSR real practice outside China, but based on the literature, I think even from different countries, their CSR practice can be categorized into some category and have many similarity, such as what I summarized in the presentation. The distortion of CSR practice not only happening in China, but also around the world. So I think this is a common issue around the world, and we all have to face with.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have more questions?
I think Alexandri wrote something in the chatting area.
Oh.
Is there a company whose CSR has brought many positive results and a typical example nowadays?
Yeah, I think this is for sure. Yeah, there are many firms conduct CSR and provide a positive result. For example, the Starbucks. No, we all know Starbucks is a coffee company. They sell the coffee around the world, and also they do many CSR practice to control for the product quality. That's why we like the Starbucks coffee. I think Starbucks is a very good example for us to understand why CSR is important and how CSR will contribute to the firm's performance. How can I please?
Thank you. I think we have another question from Jose Hidalgo. How can we sell the idea? Yeah.
Yeah, how can we sell the idea of CSR to a company in developing countries? I think this is a very similar issue. For when we consider about CSR, there's no difference between the firm in developing or developed country. Even in a developing country, the firm should also consider about the sustainability. So if the firm want to be a sustainable business and want to cultivate a good relationship with the stakeholders, they should engage in the CSR. Otherwise, they just only pursue the short-term benefits, and this will damage their long-term survival. So I think this was very important, not only for the developed country, but also for the developing countries firm. Okay.
Thank you. We also have a question from Ebru Susur, who has raised her hand.
Hi, Zach. Hi, everyone. Thanks for the webinar again. I'm enjoying the second one and really looking forward to have more. In the upcoming weeks, we will be organizing more. And regarding the topic of today, thanks, Professor. I think it was a very interesting presentation. Well, I'm not working in the domain of CSR, but there is an issue that tackles, in my mind with some doubts about CSR, especially with the existing debate on greenwashing coming from the corporations, right? I think you have roughly touched to that point. And in that mind, I question sometimes if the CSR and the CSR reporting should be treated as totally different things, right? So how we can really approach CSR itself is the ideal theoretical, thinking. And then reporting becomes perhaps the main tool and the main channel that we can get access to the CSR of the companies. And I assume the research is conducted in that domain, focusing mainly on the reporting and that practical tools. So is there a remedy to avoid greenwashing through CSR, and how to develop further and rather ideal thinking on corporate social responsibility? Yeah, thank you.
So should I answer your question?
If you like, I would be happy. Yes, please.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your comments. In the best situation, the firm should take the CSR reporting and the CSR activity as the same thing. They should communicate or disclose what they will do. But actually, in the reality, the firm, because they take the primacy of the shareholders' value, so they do everything in the purpose to maximize its value, its profit. So in this situation, if they believe they say something they did not do, will help the firm to build a good relationship with the stakeholder, they will do this kind of events. That's why we see many firms engage in the greenwashing. Because in greenwashing, they only have to say they have to do it. This is not cost them much. They will not spend too much to say something, but they did not invest on this kind of CSR activity. So in this situation, communication is deviate from the CSR practice. That's what we see, the greenwashing, not very good practice, but for sure it's very common in the real world.
And is there any research ongoing to avoid such a practice, so to say?
Yeah, how to avoid it? Yes. The most important measure is the government regulation, or the government should pay close attention on the firm, especially those heavy pollution firm, and establish very effective regulation institution in order to keep a close eye on the firm, whether they have fulfill what they committed to do. I think this is very important. The government's role to push the firm to do what they commit in the CSR report.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Susur, for your questions. And good that you reminded that we have more incoming webinars. In the end, I will show the list of the next topics we're going to cover. So do we have more questions for Professor Ming? I think we have a comment now from Joanna Alexandra again. Do the heavy pollution of the environment nowadays, why is not the protection of the environment the primary goal of CSR?
Thank you for your question. I think if we understand why firms engage in CSR, we can find the answer of this question very easy. For example, each firm take the shareholders' primacy, shareholders' value as the first primacy. So they do everything in order to maximize the shareholders' value. Even though the pollution is a very serious problem, if the firm engage in the environmental pollution, in environmental protection, such as control the emission of the polluted air, or increase the environmental protection technology. But if this kind of activity is very costly and will damage the firm's value in the short term, I think the firm have no motivation to do it. That's why even in many heavy pollution area, given the manager law, the pollution is very serious. But the law firm to do it, because this kind of activity will damage the value of the firm. That's why they do not do it.
Thank you, Professor Ming, for your question. We have another question from Nat Strom Anderson. Could you please go ahead?
Yeah, thank you, Professor, and thanks for a very interesting discussion. I just want to ask, okay, let's forget about branding and greenwashing. So if a firm really wants to do good, not only well, but doing good for the society, for the environment, and they have to take the environment concerns into the business, right? So if they really want to do that, what should they do?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, this is what I expect to do in the future. And in the last part of my presentation, I also say something about the future of CSR. I think in the future, the CSR should do the same as what you have said. The firm should consider what the stakeholders' value into consideration and run their CSR to maximize the stakeholders' value, not only for the shareholder, but also for other stakeholders. In this way, we will have a more beautiful society. And in the same time, the firm will build a sustainable capability and run a long term. That's what we expect to do. But we should persuade the manager also believe this kind of notion that they should take the stakeholders' value into consideration, not only focus on the shareholders' primacy.
Yeah, sure, it is correct. But do you have like a concrete advice for firms, for example? Because for a very long time they focus on economic maximization and profit and so on. But in order to have more, integrate the environmental targets into the strategy and so on. So what should they do? Like maybe they have to hire sustainability manager into the firm because they need to be educated, right? Basically,
yeah. It's not. I think this is not very easy. But there are many firms provide many good direction. For example, as you have mentioned, some firm provide the position of the chief sustainable officer. Chief sustainable officer. For the firm have this kind of chief of sustainable officer, they will take more care about the stakeholders' value and run the business in a sustainable manner. This is one corporate governance direction to do. Another way is take the ESG into the manager's compensation. For example, many large firms, when they design the compensation for the manager, they will take the ESG into consideration, such as whether the firm achieved the ESG target. Based on this to decide the salary of the manager. This also will motivate the manager to do much better for the society, but not only focus on the benefit of the shareholder.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think we have time for one last question. I'm not sure if somebody has any more doubts. Actually, I wanted to ask you, Professor Ming, which would be an example that, following on the last question about giving advice about benchmarking or examples to look out in the companies that you would like to mention, a company that maybe is good in CSR, or a bad example that we can learn from as well could work.
Okay. Okay. Before I just give an example about the Starbucks, but also now I want to show example in China. Most of the Chinese SOE, the state-owned enterprise in China, especially the largest state SOE in China, I think they are good example about the CSR, because this kind of Chinese SOE take the stakeholders' value for the primacy. They are not only they do not focus on the profit. For example, many SOE invest too much in the poor region in China, such as the infrastructure construction. From the profit value perspective, this kind of investment cannot provide benefit for the firm, but they do this kind of investment. That's because they focus on the social welfare. Even this kind of investment cannot make profit, they still do. This is the Chinese SOE. I think they are a very good example about the CSR. And that's what we expect the firm will turn to be in the future. Just learn from the Chinese SOE. I think they are good models to learn.
I see. Thank you very much for answering, and also thank you very much for your talk. Unfortunately, the time now is over, and I think it has been very interesting, all these insights that you give us on CSR. Just to finalize this, I will share my screen again. So I will show you. Let's see. Sorry, Professor, could you stop sharing your screen?
Okay.
Very fine.
Okay.
So I think if you want to contact the professor or the IMIM office, of course, we can. You can write us, and we can give you some more details about that. I just want to thank you all for being here, and I want to let you know about our incoming webinars, so that you can start spreading the word, either if you are an alumni, a current student, or some of our friends from the industry and our universities as well. So these dates and topics might change, but these are the topics that we're going to cover. So Heidelberg University after the Easter break, talking on topics related to projects and business, the Tec de Monterrey in Mexico, and Polito and UPM. As you can see, they have also scheduled different topics related to data science, agile project management, sustainability, business model innovation, and entrepreneurship. The last one by Polito. So keep in touch. Here is also the IMIM email. So we hope that you're enjoying this webinar series, and thank you all once again to our guest speakers, and also to everyone who participated. And stay tuned. We will send you soon the brief note and the recording for you if you want to check something else. And thank you everyone, also to the people writing, Akram, Karmatu Laev, and Carol Soon. Thank you very much for your comments. And that will be everything from my side. Thank you, Professor Yao Ming, and also Professor Jing Shao, for your collaboration. And we'll see you in our next edition after the Easter break, okay, in a couple of weeks. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.